Before we went live with Mostly Sports a year ago, we did a test episode where we were trying to figure out if the whole crew had chemistry or were worth the shit at all. Right?
And I'm not really sure what would have happened if the answer was no.
No, we were
Yeah, like what would have happened?
contractually obligated to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
We decided we were going to do it.
So it's kind of a worthless exercise, really.
Right.
It's like we already knew we were doing the show.
We did do a test show.
Anyway, yeah.
And nobody ever saw it.
Yeah. And
until now.
Now we're going to show it to you guys.
You can watch us with our year-old takes about sports.
Yeah, and I have no idea what this was.
Yeah.
I haven't gone back and watched it either.
It might suck.
It might be really, really bad.
Might be awesome.
We might watch this now. You might watch this now and say, you guys should have never started the show in the first place.
And you might be right.
Yeah.
But
we are.
If you're a completionist of Mostly Sports and you want the entire catalog, you got to watch this.
Here it is.
Tight end, Brandon Walker. Mostly Sports.
Welcome to Mostly Sports. I am Mark Titus. He is Brandon Walker. Today is Monday, September 11th. And what do we want to talk about, Brandon?
I don't want to overreact, but I believe the Dallas Cowboys are the greatest team in the history of the National Football League.
It felt different. It felt the Cowboys are one of those teams. There are a lot of teams in sports.
Right.
We'll talk about another football team from Texas in a little bit that fits this mold, that every time they play well, you are laughing because you're like, this is – at some point the other shoe's going to drop. And you know, like it's funny that they think they won this big game, but really – deep down, they suck.
Yeah.
I don't feel that about the Cowboys. I think they really might go undefeated and win the Super Bowl.
They do look very good. I mean, that defense is something. It felt like last night watching them dismantle the Giants. It felt like, hey, the other day your high school beat Avon, what, 50 to what?
Yep, 53 to I forget what Avon. Who cares?
But the last time you went to a high school game and it was just a complete mismatch and it was like 42-0 at the half and you felt bad for one side and you're like, when is this side going to let up? That's what it was like last night.
Yeah, it did. It felt like a high school game where it was just complete. Like one school pumps out Division I recruits, and another school has a bunch of dudes that are there just to like, you know, have a cool Twitter profile picture of them in a football jersey.
It was
the
like
chicks.
The second half didn't even really exist.
Yeah,
like I don't know how many people turned the TV off, but it was. And it wasn't even like Dak didn't have to do much. The running game didn't have to do much. The defense, Micah Parsons might be the best defensive player in the league
ever.
I mean, he's at the quarterback faster than the quarterback can get back there.
That was kind of the. I felt like that was kind of the theme of the first week of games. It was just that like a lot of these quarterbacks looked like shit. A lot of the defenses looked unstoppable. And yeah, I think the football in general was a little sloppy.
Well, I think what we learned,
disgusting.
And I guess we didn't learn this, but in this league that has gone so heavy passing, if you do have an elite pass rush, it's a cheat code.
Yeah.
Like the Browns destroyed the Bengals because they got Myles Garrett leading one of the best pass rushers in the league. The Cowboys destroyed the Giants because they got one of the best pass rushers in the league. If you have that, you're like cheating the system.
The weather, we should say, if you want, I don't know. I guess maybe we don't need to say it, but if the weather also felt like it was shit across the country as well. It was just like a weird week one. That was my takeaway.
Where was the weather shitty outside of New York last night?
Cleveland.
Okay.
For the Cincinnati, like the Browns. Big.
But rain is not shitty weather. Rain's going to happen. Rain is rain. Saturday was awful. Saturday, every game on the East Coast was delayed due to lightning.
I just I don't know. I was watching all these games and I was like, this is you're excited that football's back, but then I can't believe I thought I was saying to myself, maybe another preseason game wouldn't have hurt. Maybe
I was sitting there yesterday watching the Red Zone and watching 7 hours of commercial free TV, and I just realized the NFL is just a perfect product. Like it's on Sunday afternoon at about 3 o'clock, and you've got 8 games, and 6 of them are going down to the wire. It's absolutely perfect. And yesterday you had 5 games in the late window, which was a big late window. But Cowboys, to me, stole the show. There were other good teams, though.
The having a Sunday night game be such a stinker like that is I think that's like leaves the bad taste in your mouth, because I thought like some of the games I was excited about were not great. Browns Bengals I was very excited to watch. It turned into a gross game. Bears-Packers I thought would be a good game, which like is laughable now at
What
this point.
What was that? Okay, do you think week 1 is more about teams that impressed us by being good, or some teams that just laid out stinkers? Because the Giants and the Bears both stunk it up.
I felt like the vibe, just sitting on my couch, refreshing Twitter every 30 seconds and just taking in everyone else's takes. It just felt like everyone thinks their team sucks ass. Everyone except like the Giants and Cowboys and Packers. But even the Packers fans are like, you're happy, but you're also
That's
like,
just the Bears.
this is what we've done. So like, there's no Packers fan that was like, holy shit, we're good. It's like, this is who we are. So they weren't even celebrating. It was basically like Niners and Cowboys, I think, are super excited. Browns fans should be happy. But other than that, it's just like everyone kind of sucks. The Patriots fans are...
Are Eagles fans happy today?
No.
Because like they were in the first quarter and it looked like they were going to cruise.
You're sitting right next to one.
Are you happy today?
I'm happy we got a win, but we gave them every opportunity to come back in the game, and that
They should have
like
come back in the game.
It was the most conservative, predictive play calling that we've had in years, and it was shocking that we let them get back in that game. So I am worried a little bit, but it's week 1, and there were plenty of good teams that lost.
Are Patriots fans doing moral victory thing already? It sort of felt like that, didn't it?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Patriots fans are
They're
doing.
delusional.
I don't pay attention to those assholes. This company's full of fucking Patriots fans. I
know.
try to get as far away from them as I can.
I can't escape it. I just I saw a lot of like that we played. There's reason to believe in Mac Jones, and we're excited. I guess that's what you have to do in week 1. It's hard not to overreact. But we've talked about this.
Is there reason to believe in Mac Jones? Because like they came back a little bit, but when it was time to go win the game, he was awful.
I think when you compare him to other quarterbacks, I think that's really what it is that week 1 was so sloppy, and you just start like, especially if you're a box score bozo that just like looks at everyone's stat lines, and you would say Mac Jones threw for a couple touchdowns. He got hot there for a second. He had that stretch where he was like 10 for 10 with 2 touchdowns.
Sure. When the Eagles were just disinterested and
when the Eagles thought the game was over.
Yeah, the Eagles packed it in like the second quarter, right?
Yeah, it was bad.
But I think it was just a lot of sloppy football that you at least I was like, I guess this is fun to have the NFL back, but at the same time, nobody really looks good except ultimately I felt like the Niners and the Cowboys both looked good, but also looked good in a way that I don't feel like it was, I don't know if fluke's the right word, but like I said, like if you're a Packers fan, you're like, yes, we won big. Jordan Love, It beats the alternative, which was us losing to the Bears, but at the same time, like we're not going to get too excited because we beat the Bears every single time we play them. If you're a Browns fan, you're like, yes, it's great that we beat. Like this is very exciting, but also the weather was shit, and Joe Burrow didn't really play in the preseason, and like I don't know, I'm not going to pop champagne bottles yet. If I was a Niners or a Cowboys fan, I'd be like, we're winning the fucking Super Bowl.
I don't know what it was like in the early window. I'm just off the top of my head. I know the Niners won, but the afternoon slate was 5 games, and the Sunday night game was 1 game.
Right.
Road team won all 6 of those games.
All the later games?
The road team won all 6 of those games.
Wow.
Yeah. Vegas won at Denver. Dallas won at New York. Philadelphia won. Miami won. And whoever played in the afternoon, they won the road game.
I think another reason I was
Packers won in Chicago.
Yeah, Packers won in Chicago. Another reason I was just like, I don't know how great this football actually is that I had been led to believe that there were a handful of teams that were tanking and were just going.
Cardinals played their ass off. The Bucs played their ass off.
The Rams fucking blew out the Seattle.
Yep.
Even the Colts played well. Who I thought the Colts were. I mean, they played well is relative, but the Colts are not a good football team.
No,
but they had some fight in them, and it looked like there for a second the Colts might win. I guess like football tanking is not this. It's not the same as basketball.
I think
football. Put it that way. Like it's hard to tank in football.
I think football tanking also doesn't set in until like mid-October or something like that, because you start a season. And everybody's fighting for jobs, and everybody's fighting for this, and everybody's fighting for their money. Start of season, everybody's going to give you the best. If somebody's 1-3 in October, that's when you start to see things get shut down a little bit.
But another huge difference with football and basketball is I think in football, there's no such thing as like a star who's untouchable. Well,
sometimes
there's like very few, but for God's sakes, the Colts had Peyton Manning as their quarterback. They get the number 1 pick. They're like, get the fuck out of here. We're bringing in the new guy.
Yeah.
And in basketball, that would just not happen. So I think the basketball guys, when they realize they suck, they're more willing to just like stop playing. football teams, you can go like the Arizona Cardinals. You can tell them, or you and I and everyone else in media can talk about the Cardinals going into the season, saying the Cardinals are going to suck ass. They're going to be lucky to win 3 games. They are in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Every single guy in that locker room is like, I don't give a fuck because I don't even know if I'm going to be here next year. If we win 3 games, I might get cut.
Yeah.
So they're going to bust their ass to still win, and that's always the part that I forget because in the NBA, that's not necessarily the case.
It's also easier to go half speed or 75% speed in basketball because if you do it in football, you're going to get your ass knocked off. You're going to get killed. So
Right.
if you go half speed there, you're fucked. In basketball, you can put it in cruise control all the time.
You could very easily, you could just catch and shoot.
My goal tonight is I'm going to get my 12 shots. Whatever happens, happens. You know, my guy's probably going to score 30, whatever.
You can't be a cornerback and just like
give
75% on your coverage.
You can't be an offensive guard. Like, all right, I'll just let him through this time.
I'll just you're going to get knocked on your ass. Play off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But that was something that stood out to me was that I think a lot of the expectations, like the Buccaneers winning in Minnesota, I thought the Buccaneers were going to be garbage, and they still will be probably.
I thought they were going to be terrible. Baker Mayfield goes on the road and beats, and the Vikings were the playoff team last year, but gross. Mm-hmm. That's just gross.
Can I talk about the Bears for a second? Because
no, I'd rather you didn't.
I would rather I didn't as well.
Talk about the Bears.
I moved to Chicago. I don't really have an NFL team. Are the Cowboys your team? The Dolphins? You don't know.
So I'm a Dolphins fan, but I am a Dak Prescott fan too.
Yeah.
I hate rooting for the Cowboys, but I root for Dak Prescott. So last night, Dak didn't even do much. So I didn't really I didn't take any joy out of that game really. Yeah. I just watched it as an unbiased observer. But I'm a Dolphins fan. Yeah.
I don't really have an NFL team, and I just kind of.
Do you like it better that way?
I do, yeah. It's so much more fun.
Yeah, because you can just you can watch every game.
Yeah,
and you don't. Fandom is kind of a burden of passion, right? It's a burden of because in college football, if my team plays at 2:30 and gets beat, I have no desire to watch the night slate.
Yeah.
NFL, I don't have to worry about that as much.
Yeah, like when Ohio State plays Notre Dame in a couple weeks. They're going to. I guess they're playing later, so maybe I will watch and care. But like, you get so hyper focused on you're like this is a big game that you almost like tune out the rest of what's going on. I don't have that at the NFL, and I have no ties to anybody. So even if a game is kind of close, but I'm bored, I'll just flip it over to the other game. And that's very nice. It's a nice way to enjoy the product. But I thought Justin Fields is a Buckeye. I just moved to Chicago. I thought this year.
I think Justin Fields went to Georgia.
Yeah, you might.
I think Justin Fields is a Georgia Bulldog. I'm just throwing it out there.
I will. Hold on.
Jalen Hurts went to Alabama.
Okay.
Justin Fields went to Georgia, right?
Don't do this.
Okay. All right.
Are you going to apply that to Quinn Ewers?
I don't know. I'm just
you're just picking.
Because under this logic, you could also claim Joe Burrow.
I do claim Joe. First of all, I do claim Joe Burrow. Secondly, Justin Fields is my favorite Buckeye quarterback ever. But with the way things are going, I think that there might be a date down the road where we do try to just unload him back onto Georgia. Just the way that things are going.
Fields played at Georgia.
But right now, I just wanted to talk about the Chicago Bears because I knew the franchise was bad, Brandon. I knew that there's nothing like. I decided I was going to be a Bears fan because I live in not really. I decided if there was one team I was going to care about, it would be the Bears. We live in the city now.
Right.
The quarterback is a Buckeye. I was like, this makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for just like how miserable of an experience Chicago Bears football is. Both like the on-field product, but also like the fandom. Them booing like immediately out of the gate. Like the second.
Well, here's the thing.
Second they realize that they're going to lose, the fans just like they've been tortured and beaten down so badly through the years that they just. It was a disgusting experience.
Here's the thing: if you're a Colts fan today, you thought you were going to be bad. You came out and you played the Jags pretty well, right? If you're a Vikings fan, you lost 20-17. That's not great. But if you're a Bears or a Giants fan, and we'll talk about the Bears now, that game was over almost in the first quarter. Like they didn't have this. Those two teams didn't have the same level of give a fuck. It looked like it was weird. The Bears did not look prepared to open the season.
The Bears felt like they were talking a lot. It was the Mike Tyson.
It felt like a preseason game.
It felt like the Mike Tyson get punched in the mouth. You have a plan to get punched in the mouth type thing. Where like the Bears. We're talking a big game. Like this year was going to be different. Then within like the first half of the first quarter, the Bears players were like, oh, no, this is not different. The fans were like, oh, this is definitely not different. And then they just reverted right back to what they were.
Can I talk about a pet peeve right there?
What?
The very first drive of the game, the Bears had the ball, and then I think they got one first down, and then they were at about the 40, and it was 4th and 1. And Justin Fields, quarterback, sneaked it.
Yeah.
And he sneaked it with the ball down here.
Yeah.
And his helmet got the first down, but the ball was back here. Why? Just reach the ball over, man. Just reach the
Because you
ball
go to reach the ball over, and then someone knocks it out. And it's a
okay,
fumble.
well, that's what's the difference? Because you turned the ball over anyway because you didn't give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
Idiot. Not him, you.
I thought.
Not you, him. Whichever one gets me off the hook.
Yeah, it's very frustrating watching this team play because Justin Fields is a good quarterback, and I'm not afraid to say that.
Are you
And
talking like a Bears fan for the last 30 years now?
No, I'm saying Justin Fields is a good quarterback, and this stupid fucking franchise is ruining him. And like Bears fans are going to get to the point where they're like, we thought Justin Fields was the guy. He's obviously not the guy. He's obviously not good. I don't care if Justin Fields has the exact. He never shows any signs of improvement in his career. I know what my eyeballs have seen through the years at Ohio State. I know how talented this guy is. You cannot. What?
No, I want to talk about Justin Fields right here. Okay, it's weird to me, and I want to know if it's weird to you that for the Chicago Bears, he is a run-first guy that they're trying to develop his passing, but at Ohio State, he was absolutely a pass-first pocket passer. Now he would run every now and then. But he would throw darts from the fucking pocket.
Darts, dude. He would drop
he would throw darts. Like he was
Right.
a great passer. He was a phenomenal passer at Ohio State. And here it's like they're trying to develop him from somebody who's never thrown a pass because he's an athlete, and that's just not what he was in college.
That's why I'm going crazy, is because I know how talented. Like
41 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in college.
The people that say this man can't throw, it drives me up a wall. If you. The point of view, Brandon, is that when he was at Ohio State, he was just throwing to wide open guys, and and anybody could do that. That is so patently false. If you actually watched him play at Ohio State, if you go watch the fucking touchdown he threw to Chris Olave against Clemson when he fucking bombed it like 80 yards in the air, hits him in stride. He was incredible, and he had a broken wrist. Like even the Bears, like if you watch the actual Bears game, he had one bad throw, which was just a misread because he didn't even see the line. Like the one guy, if you watch the interception, the pick six. The Bears guy was breaking behind the one linebacker. He just completely did not see the guy who picked it off.
Right.
Which is bad. I'm not saying it's a good play, but it's like the guy can throw the fucking football.
The way they use him in the passing game is they roll him out a lot and they give him the threat of running. But when they do leave him in the pocket to throw, it's always a short throw. It's always a slant. It's always a screen. It's always something very, very short. Put him in the pocket. Let him throw 25, 30 yards down the field. See what happens.
Also fucking block for him so he can. That's the other thing.
Well, that might be a question of ability, less than game
That's how
plan.
I felt about watching Daniel Jones. There's a lot of chatter that Daniel Jones stinks and he's not the guy for New York, and he probably isn't. And maybe I don't know. That's not for me to decide.
That's like sticking a guy in the middle of the interstate at rush hour, and saying he's not very good at walking.
Yeah,
like he's
right.
He's trying to walk through cars that are going 70 miles an hour.
That's how I felt watching Daniel Jones play. I was like, he might suck, he might not. I don't really know. But if you watch this game tonight and you're like, Daniel Jones is not our quarterback, then I don't know what you could have put fucking anybody behind that line. And Micah Parsons playing quarterback. And I don't want to be the guy that on the show just keeps likening.
Are you the quarterback defender?
I am, because I don't want to keep tapping into my experience as a high school quarterback.
I believe it was 8th grade.
But this is a true story. When I was in high school, my center was blind, Brandon. I had a blind center.
This is immediately not a true story.
It's an absolute fact. His name is Brian Petrates. He's a great man. He was a
shout out Brian.
He was a state championship caliber wrestler. I don't know if he ever actually won state, but he always went to state as a wrestler.
If he never won a state championship, it's hard to call him state championship caliber.
Is it?
I think so.
If you're competing for state championships every single year,
it's like saying a team's a Final Four caliber team.
Can I get a caliber rule?
What do you think?
I think
if
you are a state championship caliber wrestler, that means you go to the state championship.
And
also win the state championship.
I also don't know if he won it. He could have won it. It's me misremembering. I don't remember if he won or not. I know, but all I remember is that he did go.
Is that like making the Olympics makes you a world class sprinter, but you don't have to win
Olympic class sprinter?
You're an Olympic class sprinter. Yeah. But he was really good. Like when he could feel the guy.
This is
like,
Brian Petrates?
Yeah, he was a good center because he could, or he was a good wrestler because like he was big and strong, and like if he could feel where the guy is, like but otherwise he had tunnel vision. So like that's how he could play football. I would literally
the guy in front of him.
The guy in front of him.
Okay.
So somewhere along the line, the other schools figured out that our center was blind, and they were like, what if we put just 2 guys in front of him and he sees the one guy and he blocks him and doesn't block the other? This is my way of saying, Brandon, that I had a lot of experience playing the position of quarterback where I would drop back and I would just see a fucking flood of defenders coming to rip my head off. And from that experience, I will say I did not spend a lot of time looking down.
Stop calling that experience. Just do me a favor and just right now off the top, let's stop calling that experience.
I would just say I felt like Brian Petrates might have been playing center for the Giants, and when it's a miserable feeling to drop back, to think that like you're going to play football and then instead you're just like dropping back, shitting your pants, saying all these dudes are running to take my head off.
I think it was the second play of the game, and the Giants had a good first drive, but maybe the second or third play of the game, and Micah Parsons literally got through the center guard gap, or no, the guard tackle gap. And Daniel Jones hadn't turned around yet.
Yeah.
Jones turned around and immediately just threw it, and he didn't know where it was going. He just threw it. He didn't get sacked, but like he didn't have time to do anything.
That was Fields had one. I think it was like the third quarter, where the DN just comes in on like he does just like a play action, and then he's going to his right, does the play action, then goes to like set, and then the blindside defensive end was like right there, just to fucking smoke him, rip his head off.
Did you see the Geno Smith clip?
I did. Yeah, Geno Smith.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Aaron Donald just right in his face.
Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. So I think I might end up being a quarterback defender. I think that might be my role. Is just to like, I just because it does feel. Do you feel that way that people think that?
Oh, quarterback is never.
There's like 5 good quarterbacks, and everyone else sucks.
Quarterback
sucks
is never
ass.
judged fairly. A quarterback can get his team to the playoffs, and he can get a team to the second round of the playoffs, and then if he loses, like this franchise will never go far with this guy,
right?
Something like that. Like playing quarterback's really fucking hard.
Kirk Cousins is a very, 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 very good quarterback.
Dak Prescott's a very good quarterback.
Dak Prescott's a very, very good quarterback. And there are a lot of people that just heard us say that are gonna like.
Yeah. Oh no.
What did they just say?
How many playoff games he won?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's crazy.
It's
crazy.
You wanna do my sport now?
You want to pivot? You hate the NFL.
I don't hate. We're 23 minutes in.
Right.
Well, we did 23 minutes on the NFL.
All right.
Rapid fire. Let's see. Was there any team you want to eliminate from playoff competition right off the bat?
And from
not
the NFL?
Not like the Cardinals, who we don't anticipate to be that good, but somebody that maybe.
Do the Bears count? Because I think the Bears. There was a pipe dream from Bears fans that not that they would be dominant, but that they could sneak in because the NFC is not as good, and there's a lot of questions in the NFC North. I think one game was enough to say the Bears are definitively the same team they were last year.
I think I'll eliminate the Broncos. The Broncos had that new coach bump, Sean Payton, and he's going to get Russell Wilson back to where he was. No, they're not very good.
Yeah, the Broncos aren't going to be very good. Missed extra point cost them in the end.
Yeah. Texas beat Alabama.
That's what you want to talk about.
Kinda. Yeah. Well, there's 2 big stories in college football. Okay. Texas beat Alabama, and Mel Tucker got fired for phone pussy. So, do you want to talk about Texas and Alabama or phone pussy? Because I am fine talking about either one of them. We can talk.
Let's start with Texas, Alabama.
You don't. We're not going to start.
First of all, allegedly, we have to say.
Okay, it is alleged.
Even though he did admit it. Why do you have to say alleged when he like?
I don't think you do, but whatever.
But all the way people like the big J's are report. I don't think I keep forgetting where I'm working. But
sure. It doesn't matter what we say.
I'm getting flashbacks to being at Fox Sports where if you don't say allegedly every like third word.
You don't think they would have said phone pussy over there?
They might have. They may.
Can I be honest?
Urban Meyer may have.
Can I be honest? I didn't know phone pussy was still a thing.
Yeah,
I didn't think phone sex was still a thing.
I don't. Explain to me what exactly happened with that, because it seems like you're just going to disregard my desire to talk about Alabama and Texas.
No, let's talk about
Mel Tucker stuff.
Let's talk about Alabama, Texas. I'm just saying, throwing away $95 million away for a piece of pussy is one thing. It's on the phone? Yeah, okay.
Help me understand this about Alabama.
Texas is good.
Texas is good, but also Alabama stinks. So if
Alabama doesn't stink.
So if Alabama stinks, then how can Texas be good?
Alabama does not stink. Alabama's good. Alabama is a good football team.
Okay.
I think Alabama's probably still going to go 11-1 or 10-2. They're going to be very, very good. I think they'll overwhelm everybody in the SEC West. The difference in them and Texas's defensive line and linebacker level is so much more physical than Alabama, and they're not used to that. They're not used to getting bullied around. Like, you talk about Jalen Milroe. He's getting a lot of hate right now. Like, he can't be the guy. He's not this. He was running for his life all night.
Yeah.
And he was good at it. Like, he made plays out of it. But Quinn Ewers is a fucking dude.
Quinn Ewers is very good. Former Buckeye, very sad about that, but also
I don't really consider him a former Buckeye. He just went to get the NIL money, didn't he?
He probably did.
Because Texas had a rule where they couldn't get it, and he said, "Well, fuck it, I'll go to Ohio." That's what
I think a lot of us have landed on that. When he initially transferred, I was a little sad because I was like, "Damn, he was kind of in line to be the guy after Stroud." But then, as it all played out, it's become clear that he was
just getting his money.
He was just getting his money.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing.
and listen, he's very fucking good.
I don't like that he got rid of the mullet though.
Well, it's almost like that unlocked his powers though.
He became a real quarterback and not just like
not just a caricature, not just a meme. He's a real guy.
What was crazy to me watching that game was that not only was it not a fluke, but like Texas just had better players.
Texas better.
And when Texas, a lot of the times that you're quick to say Texas is back is it does feel like a little bit of an upset or maybe Texas and Bama are like evenly matched, but the ball bounced the right way on this night for Texas. And then you walk out of the game and you're like, wow, Texas won. They must be back. This one felt different because it did feel like Texas was the better. Like it felt like if they played 10 times, Texas is winning 7. You know,
if not 8 or 9.
Yeah. It felt like they were definitively a very good football team.
The thing about Texas is, on paper, this was supposed to happen maybe last year, but they underachieved a little bit last year. When Quinn Ewers got hurt, they were going to beat Alabama last year, and he got hurt. They ended up losing to Alabama, and he was inconsistent from then on. But they were, on paper, just as good as Alabama last year. They just underachieved. And now this year, like across – that defense is nasty.
Yeah.
And offensively, the offensive line is finally where it should be. 2 years ago, it was god-awful. Now it's finally where it should be. He's got weapons. Xavier Worthy might be he's either the worst good receiver or the best bad receiver in the country.
You can't throw him routine balls.
He has a lot of drops.
Yeah.
But that throw, maybe their first touchdown, the throw that was about 40 yards, and he threw it really high and it just dropped it into him over the shoulder. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, he dropped the very easy one like right before that on was that the third down one?
It was fourth down, wasn't it?
Oh, the fourth down one.
Or no, it was third down because they kicked a field goal.
The third down one when he
in the end
just
zone.
hit him on hit him in both hands. He drops that one and then he catches the Willie Mays catch. I think that's what you have to do with him is just throw bad passes to him.
No easy routes.
Not that easy. Yeah. Just make it difficult on him and he'll make the catch. But what about the Sabin assistant narrative now? Is that dead? Is that like why?
I think it might be dead. Like it is. First of all, this is a lot bigger deal for Texas than just Sabin assistant because Sark is a guy who never should have been a Texas assistant. Sark is a guy that was already the USC coach, and he was on track to be a great coach, and then life got in the way. His problems got in the way. He went and rehabbed at Alabama. Now he is doing this, but that's his first breakthrough win as a coach. Like we've always thought he was going to be a great coach because his offense is ingenious, and that was his breakthrough. It was more his breakthrough than Quinn Ewers.
The Sabin piece of it though, how much do we? I think
it is very. Let's be honest. Let's just throw it out here, okay? Don't you think it's really, really interesting that about NIL started 2 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago?
2 years.
Don't you think it's interesting that teams like Alabama and Clemson, now that everybody across the country can pay players, teams like Alabama and Clemson are coming back to the pack? Isn't that weird? Yeah. They are coming back to the pack.
Right, but yeah.
Whether Alabama goes on this year and Saban gets something out of this team is nowhere near as elite as it once was.
So do you think that – I mean, because you could argue that like – it is NIL, but it also is like some of these up-and-coming type coaches that are like with Kirby – I still think in a world without NIL, like Kirby Smart is making shit happen at Georgia.
Kirby Smart was doing it beforehand.
That's what I mean. Yeah. And I still think if Lincoln Riley takes a job at USC and there's no NIL, that's still going to pop.
But look across the country, though. Like Alabama's a little bit weaker than they were. Clemson's obviously starting to trend downward. And then out west, USC's coming up. Washington's coming up. Notre Dame's coming back up. Like everywhere across the country, it's kind of rising while it's kind of sinking in the Southeastern Conference. And that's 2 years through NIL. So that's an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah.
And Georgia, they're 2-0. But we'll have to see about Georgia. The SEC might not be very good.
The SEC, it feels like the SEC is not good, but also you cannot say that definitively after 2 weeks of football.
You can't say it definitively, but you can say trends are. I mean,
yeah, but it's still like
LSU was number 5. They got killed by Florida State.
If there's one entity in sports that deserves the benefit of the doubt, it is SEC football.
What is happening right now? I'm arguing that SEC is going down, and you, the Buckeye fan.
I'm using my brain.
You, the Buckeye fan, are standing up.
I'm not using my heart. I'm using my brain, Brandon. Because we've been here before with the SEC where you're like, the SEC is not that good.
I don't remember being here before.
Okay, well, that's the difference.
I mean, it's been a while.
That's what I'm saying. Like, those of us in the North have many times through the years been like, the SEC fucking 2000.
But y'all always said that. That's just that was. Now I think it's really starting to trend that way because, like I said, I feel like the game is going national more so than it has been, and the transfer portal helps a lot too. Like USC went to Georgia and got a couple defensive players this year. Like the transfer portal it's not that the SEC is a bad conference. It's just I think the gap is shortening and the game is widening out.
Yeah,
and I think that's good. I think it's a great thing. Like for example, and Evo put it on this sheet. The playoff right now, the best odds to make the playoff are Texas at 45%. This is ESPN FPI, so shit in one hand, put that in the other. Texas 45%, Ohio State 45%, Florida State 41%, and then Georgia 38%.
Which again means nothing, but also
nothing. But 3 years ago, this would have had 3 SEC teams in it.
Right.
So take that with a grain of salt.
No, I think it is great for the sport, and I think that's what SEC fans don't want to hear that. But
what is this picture? Akron has a turnover tire?
Yeah.
TJ, throw the turnover tire on the screen. Akron has a turnover tire. I didn't even know this.
It looks like they have 2 turnover tires, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks borderline dangerous.
They just throw a tire over dudes.
Yeah, like you wear it like the Miami turnover necklace, except it's a giant
I don't like
tire.
the turnover stuff. I'm
it
over
is
it.
a little bit.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
I was over it like 3 years ago.
I mean, damn.
That's...
Actually, it's kind of cool.
It's just a tire. There's nothing.
I know, but there were 2 tires.
Oh, it does say turnover on it. Did you see that?
It does.
Turnover tire.
Turnover tire, yeah.
That's insane.
That looks low budget.
I mean, Akron is, as I'm sure you know, Brandon, Akron is the rubber city where...
Well, let me tell you something.
They make tires. They make a lot of tires.
You're not aware of this, and there's no reason for you to be, but NCAA 2009, I had the greatest dynasty of my life with the Akron Zips.
I actually was aware of this.
I started out at UCLA, then I went to Hawaii for a year to throw it around the yard, but then I said, fuck it, I'm going to go save Akron. I went to Akron. I got them in the Big Ten within 3 years, and we started winning the national titles. So
no, that's not. You're thinking of Coach Doug's. Big Cat did this bit already. But it's
this was 12 years before Coach Doug. This is 12 years before Coach Doug's.
I do appreciate that you saw Big Cat get some steam with that, and you decided I should try it myself as well. But sorry to say, I'm
Big
not
Cat
interested.
made a fake video game character, and we hired a guy who looked like him.
hired a guy
who looked like the video game character.
Which
3 years.
And the guy was here for a while. It's just the preposterous.
There's one reason why he looked like him.
Right.
It was not like the video game character had like a bunch of definitive traits. It was like, holy shit, we found a guy who had like all 4 traits.
And the guy and Colin came to us. He's like, "Hey, look at me. You're hired, buddy. This guy gets it."
So you don't think Alabama's dead? Back to the point.
I don't think they're dead. I don't think they're going to go to the playoff. I don't think they're going to win it. But I am projecting down the road. But I think they're still a top 10 team.
I feel bad for.
Who do you feel bad for? Fuck Alabama.
I know.
Alabama's been on top of the sport for 15 years.
But Saban, I shouldn't say I feel bad, but Saban, the downfall of Bama, so to speak, is not even close to Clemson. Like Bama.
No.
You know what I mean? And I feel like
not until Saban hangs them up.
I feel like they're both being lumped together. That like Dabo and
no, Clemson I don't think is a very good team.
Yeah.
And Alabama I think is a very good team. and I think they will be there in the mix. Georgia will ultimately clip them. I don't think we really live in a world now where we can get 2 SEC teams in the playoff, because LSU's already taken a loss. Alabama, one of them is going to get eliminated when they play again, although I don't think LSU is very good anyway. And then I think Georgia's probably cruising. I just don't see it.
Especially if Ohio State beats Notre Dame, then that Big Ten try. Who's Penn State's big non-con? Who does Penn State play?
We already played our big non-conference game in West Virginia.
Delaware?
No. West Virginia.
West Virginia
was our big one, so to speak.
Hey,
So Penn State's the three-way race of Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. If Ohio State beats Notre Dame, and then Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State beat up on each other,
they can all go.
They're going to get 2 out of 3.
I think they could.
Maybe.
I think they could.
I don't know.
Now listen, Notre Dame's good.
Yeah, that's what.
Notre Dame is a good football team. I think they're top 5 or 6 team in the country.
Whoa, hang on a second.
Why not?
Based on what?
Based on the way they've looked, NC State's not a bad football team, and they went down there and drug their nuts all across their field.
And fucking
Just beat the shit out of them.
What? Did we watch the same game?
45-24, they beat the shit out of them.
I mean, they pulled away late.
They didn't pull away late. They were up a touchdown, 10 points the whole time.
No. NC State was right there, and then they shit down their leg.
It was 10-0 in the first quarter.
TJ, give me a score.
A box score.
A box score rundown.
That's all. Box score Titus over here. He just reads the box score.
I was watching the whole fucking game, and I felt like NC State was in it. And then
because NC State's not bad.
And then I forgot that it's NC State, and they won't ever have good things, and that this is. But the place was rocking. They thought they were in it. They were
very quickly. 1990s NC State basketball player. Give me one.
There's nobody of note. There's nobody of 1990s. That's a bad era of NC State
2000s?
basketball. C.J. Leslie.
Oh, I liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Corciani.
Okay.
Early 90s. White guy. Yeah.
Tom Gugliotta.
He might have been very early 90s, so Corciani.
Tom Gugliotta was 90s, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been 90s against yeah.
I mean, it's 3-0. It's 17-7
21-7 in the
It's 17-7 at the half. It's 24-17. I guess that's the closest it got, and then they killed him in the fourth quarter.
So that you win by 21 and you win by 14 in the fourth quarter. So going into the third quarter was a 7-point game. Is that what I'm reading?
There was an interception by NC State, and that really
they were leading by double digits at the half.
It was a 7-point game going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and then half.
Yeah, so
I was right.
They also have a Heisman caliber quarterback. NC State does, so you have to remember that.
Have you met Jake Malasek?
No.
Oh. He's one of Ebo's guys, and he is a huge Virginia fan. We have a massive Virginia homer here. And he's such a Virginia homer that when his quarterback, Brendan Armstrong, transferred to NC State, he went out and got an NC State jersey so he could support his quarterback.
Oh, I think I maybe have met Jake. I've met a lot of he works here?
Well,
the Virginia fan?
You should have met a lot of people. You've been working here for 6 months.
Yeah, he was on stream when you guys were in Columbus.
Yeah. I remember him now. Yeah. Because he was asking me about Virginia, and I was like,
who gives a shit?
Yeah, we'll see. And then
is that just your noise you make when it's time?
We'll see.
Got a little Jay Leno to it.
Virginia lost to JMU.
That's right.
Ebo, you want to apologize on behalf of JMU? That felt pretty fucking insensitive to.
They were honoring.
I disagree.
They were honoring
we
3 players.
We stood united with them and played a great football game. It was an awesome game for everyone, and it's a very tragic thing that happened.
Hey, shout out this show. Undefeated as hell right now. Undefeated as hell. Ohio State undefeated. Rutgers undefeated. Penn State, JMU, Mississippi State. We're all the same. We are all the same.
JMU in the AP poll receiving votes.
Yeah, true.
Are you serious?
1 vote.
Yep.
Whose vote
for
was that?
3 weeks in a row we have actually.
Just one guy out there voting for you guys.
Bingo.
It's the Penn State
PFT commenter.
We're getting 5.
What?
Yeah, 5 votes.
I mean, is this?
What's wrong with you?
At a certain point in the season, if a team is undefeated, they just automatically
start getting
votes.
votes. Yeah,
but I didn't think it was week 2. I thought it was more like a week 4
I think
thing.
we were getting some in the preseason. We weren't getting many, but we were getting some.
Rutgers would have to be 10-0 at this point.
You know, a team that's receiving votes that I really like is Kansas.
Yeah, they look really good against Illinois.
Yeah,
Illinois
beat the
Friday
shit
night.
out of Illinois. Who's that quarterback at Kansas?
Jalen Daniels, and Jason Bean comes in off the bench.
Holy shit, Jalen Daniels is so good.
He's good.
Good jerseys too. The blackout.
They have good jerseys. Yeah. How does that happen like at Kansas, but it can never happen in Indiana?
What?
Like you have a basketball school with just a complete dog shit football program. No tradition, no history, no fan base whatsoever. And then Kansas can like kind of figure it out, and Indiana isn't even a little bit close.
Indiana had the 1 year a couple years ago. I think that's what Kansas.
COVID year when everyone
they still had a good year. I don't know how they figured it out when nobody else did. But I think it's not like Kansas. Kansas has been the worst program in the country for a decade and a half. So it's been a long time coming.
I know, now they're good, but Indiana got good 1 year because every single game they felt like they were playing in front of a home crowd.
Also, he was down, right?
There was no one in the.
Oh my God, he was out of bounds.
Yeah,
so out of bounds.
I remember Michael Penix when he stretched in the first game against
the ball
State.
Such an egregious miscall. I hated that game. I was calling that game.
Were you?
Yeah, and I was like trying. I had to be neutral, but I was like trying to.
Give me your call. All right, Penix. Round of 5, he stretches for the goal. Give me.
Well, I was color commentary at the time, but I will. I'll say, all right, 4th down for the Hoosiers. Big 4th down right here to win the game on the 2-point conversion. Michael Penix takes a snap.
Wait. That was a 4th down.
How can it be 4th down on 2-point conversion?
Oh shoot, sorry, I forgot.
Right, start over.
I realized it in the middle of it. Okay, 2-point conversion. They just scored the touchdown.
All right,
I think the final.
Get back into it.
Okay, sorry.
36-35 was the final.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Michael Penix for the 2-point conversion to give the Indiana Hoosiers their signature win. He takes the snap, drops back, surveys the field. He's going to rush to his left. He's being pushed out of bounds. He's going to dive for the end zone. Is he in there? He hit the pylon. Not sure.
I don't know.
They're going to have to go to the review.
I think he got in.
Oh, this replay.
That's a close one.
It's a very close. Looks like he grazed the white of the sideline.
But he also hit the pylon.
He did. But they're going to come back. The referees are looking at it. And here we go right here. Final ruling. And he's in.
Touchdown. 2-point conversion.
I can't believe I got that messed up.
That was.
I blocked it out of my memory for a long time.
By the way, and this is fine, you're probably going to have to do that for a lot of games. I'm going to need your commentary.
A lot of highlights.
Yeah.
I missed doing play-by-play.
We should
actually, can we just, since we can't buy highlights, let's just have him
Connor
come in and do the play-by-play of them.
Do the play-by-play.
The biggest play of the weekend, you got to do it.
That's not a bad idea.
Should they be radio calls or like?
Got to be radio.
They have
calls.
to be a radio.
Radio calls,
right? Yeah,
because that's all I only did radio.
You have the radio. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I was trying to add some pepper with the being the color guy who adds nothing but just makes noises. And it's just like, what?
Well,
That's why
wow, that's close.
I always hate when a good high school game clip goes viral and you hear the radio announcer and then the color guy in the background. Oh man! Go Johnny!
Yeah, the kick 6 has like the best one of that. The Auburn radio guy is just going, "Oh my god! Oh my god!"
The Bulldogs are going to take state, and they're going to do it.
Oh,
they're going to do it.
Have you ever seen that big time comeback in Texas where it was a state championship game and they came all the way back and took the lead and then the guy returned it and the color commentator was like, "Oh, these kids! Oh my God, these kids! I feel so bad for these kids."
It's a great pivot, man, to care deeply about something that you should not care about, and it's really fucking weird that you care that much about it, and then in the moment be able to pivot and say, I just care about the kids, you know, like because the guy was getting choked up because like his team was winning,
right,
and then he was like, "This is fucking weird."
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say I'm just happy for the kids. It's just the kids.
You and I are here, and you know I certainly got lucky to be here. But there's an alternate universe where I'm absolutely the radio announcer for my high school, and I think Brandon Walker would have really enjoyed that life.
Yeah, I say it all the time that my ultimate goal with this career of mine is to do an Indiana high school basketball call-in show every Friday night. Produced from my house in Santa Barbara.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's a live call-in show, not unlike this show. You know, it's just a live YouTube show, and it airs at like 5 local time for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just take calls from around the state of Indiana from like coaches
passionate
and
calls.
Yeah. What'd you see tonight? Cecina with the big 27-24 win over Speedway. That's gonna put Cecina. Got to think this puts him into the top 10 in the 2A poll. And Coach Johnson joining us now, Coach. That second half, it sounds like that 1-3-1 you threw at him just gave him fits. Yeah, it did, Mark. You know, we We
Why
really
was the
leaned
score
on our
27-24?
because it's high school basketball. Yeah, it did. We really leaned on our seniors in this game, and I tell our guys all the time that and then that's just kind of what I do with my life.
So, universal shot clock in high school basketball. Do you believe in it?
Indiana does not have a shot clock.
That's what I'm saying. Does high school basketball in this country need it? Because
the most you want to answer?
Yeah,
I do that a lot too. I ask a question then answer it before my guest.
Did
does.
I? I wasn't paying attention.
You could do that.
All right.
You could do that. Go ahead, answer it.
What? I don't even. Did I ask a question? I blacked out. I thought we were just talking.
You did. You asked.
Okay.
You ask.
Do you believe that the high school basketball needs a shot clock?
No, and here's why.
Do you think coaches that go that like take a 2-0 lead and then sit on the ball are pussies?
They're pussies, and that's Bush League, and I don't like that. But the most compelling argument against the high school shot clock was made by my father on my show, and when he said, "Think about the people that are going to be running that shot clock," and I was like, "That's a great point."
Yeah, I guess so.
Think about the
17-year-old audiovisual student. That
yes,
is, yeah,
and or like the fucking like local like.
Yeah,
car mechanic who for some side cash is has no idea what he's looking at, and he's the guy that's supposed to be pushing the button.
Some of the greatest characters in this country are the PA announcer at a high school basketball game, the guy who's been doing it for 30 years.
Yep.
Like that's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
There's high school sports, pretty good. Weird, but good.
Colorado and Dion, you're a Colorado hater. Shout out to you, by the way, for getting the.
Did you see me do it?
How did that come about? What was that?
So Ebo and Jack Mack and I guess not Jack Mack, Jack McCarthy.
Who's can I stop you there? Who's Jack Mack and who's not Jack Mack?
Jack Mack works back in the New York office,
right?
And he's of TikTok fame now.
Right.
Jack McCarthy is one of in
but
Ebo's
Jack
little group out
McCarthy
here.
is also called Jack Mack.
No, he's not.
Here.
He's
by only Dave.
Yeah,
okay, because it's very confusing. He's
Smacky Jables or Jackie Tables or whatever.
Right, he's the little gremlin-looking guy that like films social clips on the street.
Yeah. So they said, "Hey, it'd be really funny if you just." They're gonna give me a word or a line to say every week.
Okay.
So I'm tired of this company just being all Deion. He's the greatest thing of all time, and painting me as a Deion hater when I simply said, "Hey, let's give him a little bit of time to see what happens." But I said, "Hey, Dave, the meat riding is crazy, little bro." I was either supposed to say the meat riding's crazy, little bro.
You said Sherrod Sanders is horrible.
Sherrod Sanders.
That's not what I said. Oh my god, the meat riding is crazy, little bro. Listen. Yeah. So,
did you know you were gonna say it about Deion?
I knew that's when it would come up.
That would be,
my directive was to call Dave Little Bro at some point and either say the meat riding is crazy or the glazing is insane right now.
The glazing.
So I think I pulled it off pretty good.
No, that was awesome.
It didn't land with the crowd, but it was great.
No, the crowd.
Nothing ever lands with those live crowds.
Especially the Alabama crowd. If you're not talking about Alabama football, they just look at you like they're zombies.
That's why McAfee McAfee's not my cup of tea, and I don't say that as a hater. I just say it as like a guy with a brain. That I don't want to. Pat's a nice enough guy. You know, it's cool that he does a show from Indy. I like that part. I don't begrudge the success he has, and I just like never really find myself saying I want more Pat McAfee content. But
Sure.
the one thing I do respect, and the haters of McAfee will say all he does is just fucking yell. But he's kind of figured that out on game day, which is that the crowd behind you is not listening to a goddamn thing.
Right.
So if you're just like, who's feeling good today? You know, and like they'll just be like, yeah.
It's like
and you're in the middle of making a point, and you're just like, and he's like, I think Alabama's gonna win because they're gonna beat Texas's fucking ass, and then the place just goes crazy. That's all you have to say.
It's like professional wrestling, where Mick Foley just did the thing where when he became a good guy, the first thing he always said was, "It's just great to be right here in Albany, New York."
Yeah.
And you get the cheap pop, and you can just Pat knows how to get the cheap pop.
Pat's really, really good at the cheap pop.
But our people do it too. When we're like Dan and Dave know how to get that cheap pop. They know how to walk out there and give horns down like that.
Right. And everybody picked Bama to blow out Texas and then be wrong.
I wasn't going to, but my mom was there. I said I would give her my pick, so I did. But
is your mom really a Bama fan?
Yeah.
That's
she did not raise me a Mississippi State fan. I just got lucky.
That's interesting.
Kind of bullshit, isn't it?
That's
interesting. She gets to cheer all these national champions, and I just get stuck hoping they drop some loose change on the ground and I pick it up.
loose change reference on 9/11. Interesting. It's interesting that you mentioned loose change on 9/11. Did you do that on purpose? Was that an initiative? Was that Billy Football asking you to say that on this show?
This Djokovic guy is.
I wanted to talk to you about Deion.
Okay, talk about Deion.
Where you said you wanted more time to see. How much time do we need? How much more? At what point are you going to keep moving the goalposts? Is it going to be week 11?
There's no moving the goalposts, but I do want to make sure we're on the same page here because so far he has doubled their win total. He has 100 times the excitement of their program. He has revived their program.
He has moved them from the Pac-12 to the Big 12.
He's moved.
I don't think that happens without
from the Pac-12 to the Big 12. He's done so much in so little time, right? I think he has gotten them to – I think they're probably going to win 6 or 7 games now, and I think this is way above what anybody should have expected him to do in the first year. But I'm not willing to say they're one of the best teams in the country, and I'm not willing to say that they're going to compete for the Pac-10. I'm not ready – or Pac-12. I'm not ready for that. And if that's hating on Deion, I'm sorry.
But I would say it's the first 2 games. Like if you were just looking at the resumes that are being put out.
Incredible through 2 games.
But I'm saying this Colorado team – through 2 games, if you did want to, of course you could lose in the future, but every team can lose.
Sure. So you're saying the 2 wins they have stack up with anybody in the country?
I don't mean like they should be ranked number 1 in the country, but I mean like if you wanted to rank them like 14th, that doesn't feel absurd based on just the 2 games. I mean, like,
you know what's amazing?
You can forecast that like eventually they're gonna fall back down there, but until they do,
you know what's amazing is Matt Rule last year was coaching in the NFL. Matt Rule has turned around several programs before. He's been in college. Like, he's done this. He knows what he's doing. He's very good at this. Deion got a college job at Jackson State, but this is his first job at this level. And Deion has completely changed the culture immediately, changed everything about Colorado, has made them the biggest story in college sports. And Matt Rule looks like he doesn't – like 2 games in, they look worse than they did last year.
Yeah.
So he went out and got a transfer quarterback that was objectively worse than they've had in a long – that guy, God bless him.
I know, but the problem with a guy like that is that he'll show you one play every so often, and you're like,
it's like
this is why I knew I believed in you.
It's like a guy that golfs 95 and he sticks a par 3 within 5 feet, and he realizes, I'm going to play this for the rest of my life.
Yes, that's Jeff Sims. That's watching Jeff Sims play quarterback. Yeah, that every so often he has one play where you're like, I can see the vision.
Before we get out of here, because I know LeBron James is saving USA basketball.
LeBron James is saving USA basketball. He announced this this morning that So USA World Cup that nobody gives a shit about. We lose
the FIBA World Cup.
The FIBA World Cup. We lose to not the women's FIFA World Cup, because obviously you and the rest of the country were very locked in on that. I'm talking about the FIBA World Cup basketball. Mm-hmm. We lose to Germany. Then we get a lot of load management situation where like half the fucking roster comes down with an illness, a mysterious illness. Yeah. They don't play against Canada. We lose to Canada, who's actually very good.
Wait, we lost to Canada?
In the bronze medal game, yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's on the sheet.
What are we doing losing to Canada?
We lost to Germany and Canada.
This is bullshit. Germany, okay. I mean, listen, they're worthy. They seem like they dirt came from there.
Imagine telling your grandfather that you're okay losing to Germany.
I think he was in the Pacific Theater. He didn't even. I don't think he made it out of San Diego, really. I think he was fine.
But yeah, we are an embarrassment. USA basketball is back to being an embarrassment. We're back on this cycle of like, wait till we. What's happening over there?
It just kept ringing. It just kept vibrating. But we are on the cycle. The USA basketball has a cycle where we send our best, they dominate. Then the next time we get bored. We're obviously way better than everybody. We send a little bit worse team, and they kind of dominate. And we send a little bit worse team, and they're competitive, and then they get beat. Then we start the cycle over with the good guys.
And I'm at the point where I think we need to send our best every single tournament, because the thing that I don't understand about the World Cup, the FIBA World Cup, is you can't excuse it as like, we don't care if that's our B team, whatever. If you send the team, win the fucking tournament. That's my attitude. Like if we as a country truly do not care about this tournament, then simply do not field a team and don't send anybody over there. But if we're gonna send a team over there, I don't want to see us lose in a bronze medal game, and then because this is the second World Cup in a row we have not medaled.
Well, let me throw this at you.
We got like 7th place last time in this thing.
Do you think, just looking forward, do you think this is LeBron planning his exit of playing basketball? Imagine if he played one more year, and then next year is 2024 Olympics, right? And he goes out. He'll be 40 years old next year, and he goes out on top wins a gold medal, says, all right, well, my basketball career is over. Don't
He's
you
going
think
to
that's
retire after the Olympics?
Maybe. Larry Bird did it. Don't you think that'd be a nice bow for his career?
I will say his son having the heart thing
Yeah.
kind of changes the
Like
vision of, because I think that was the understood LeBron timeline, was like he wants to play with his son in the NBA. But
and he's
like,
already got the
his
record.
son, yeah. Is his son going to even play in the NBA at this point? Is he going to play basketball ever again?
Yeah.
That is an interesting conversation, Brandon.
I just think looking forward, that would be a nice little. Maybe he doesn't announce it. There's rumors after he loses the NBA Finals or he wins the NBA Finals, and then he goes and he plays in. Anybody can tell me where the Olympics are? The Paris?
France. Yeah, Paris.
No, I think they're in Paris, not in
Paris,
France.
yeah.
Jesus. You ever been to Paris?
I've not. No, I don't know how I feel about it. I was very anti-France for most of my life.
Yeah.
I'm becoming a little more. I'm broadening my horizons.
Pro France?
I don't know. I'm just a little more I'm a little more willing to entertain the idea of Paris as a vacation. What about you?
I don't even have a passport.
You're probably serious, aren't you?
I don't have a passport.
I don't either.
I don't have one.
Yeah, but I'm
What?
grown. I'm grown and rich.
Yeah, you're grown.
No,
How do we not have passports?
where am I going to go?
Do we need to do this as a show?
Have
Do
you
we need to
never
have
had one?
Never have one.
Never had one.
I've only been out of the country once.
Wait, do they expire?
How did you
Yeah,
go out
they
of the
expire.
country
Oh,
if you didn't have a passport?
Back then, you could go to the Bahamas without needing a passport.
Oh,
Do we need to do passport day on the show where we all just like
You
go
want to
down?
go get a
That'd be
passport?
awesome.
DMV
Oh,
vlog.
but,
DMV.
if we all get passports, we have to do at least one show abroad. We have to go somewhere and do a show. Let's go to Switzerland and do a show.
We go to
Rainforest Cafe at Niagara Falls.
we go to Windsor on the other side of
As-
town.
or other
Drive to the
options.
other.
What? Why the Rainforest Cafe?
I love Rainforest Cafe.
If we're going to
we
do
do it.
passport day, we have,
Tracy
to do
Tree?
we have to do a show from the DMV because we're going to be there for about 5
Yeah,
hours.
we should do the show from the DMV and everybody's getting there. Ebo, you have your passport.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Canada.
Yeah, same.
You
I've
gotta
been,
have a
Bahamas.
passport to go to Canada?
I've been to
get
Canada. I've been to Mexico a couple times.
So then.
You've never been to Mexico?
No. I'm
Yeah,
not.
you're scared of the sun. That's right. Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
The reason to go to Mexico is to go to the beach. And
Did you go to Cancun? That's not Mexico.
I've been to Cancun. I've been to Juarez.
That's right across the.
Yeah, it's good for my street cred. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent some time in Juarez.
Is Narcos
yeah.
Mexico done on Netflix, or are they going to do another season? Did you ever watch Narcos
No.
on Netflix?
That was the Pablo Escobar show,
Yeah.
right? And
It
then
started off as Pablo Escobar. I think it did 2 seasons as him. Then there was a 3rd season as the Cali cartel in Colombia, and then they switched to Mexico.
What do you think Joe Biden should be doing about the influx of drugs from these South American, Central American countries?
Don't get me started, brother.
What else? Is that it? Do you have anything else you want to talk about, Brandon?
My people down in Mississippi, my very conservative uncles and aunts, since I moved to New York and Chicago, I am basically Joe Biden to them.
Yeah.
They don't want me coming around talking to their kids, nothing like that.
My aunt told me that living in Chicago is. I don't know what she thinks LA was. Like, I lived in LA for 4 years, never heard a word. But my aunt that lives in northern Indiana, lives on a fucking farm, was like, I can't believe you're going to willingly live in Chicago. I went. Her son got married last week, and I went to the wedding, and it's a fucking farm in northern Indiana.
People outside Chicago hear you're moving to Chicago, and they think you're going to get murdered within the hour.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
bye.
Yeah, she like when I showed up at that wedding, she looked at me like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you made it." We all thought,
like you coming home from war.
but she like legitimately thinks that I'm insane for like she lives. If you saw this town, even you being from, where are you from?
West Point, Mississippi.
West Point, Mississippi, would be shocked at this town, and she thinks that that's a better place to live than I don't know. Different strokes for different folks.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, we got to win gold medal, and it would be cool. I mean, Steph has never played in the Olympics, by the way.
Can I just throw one out to you?
What?
You should announce that you're open to playing in the Olympics next year too.
I feel like I'm one of the few people in basketball media that like cares deeply about this shit, because I think most people just kind of shrug their because there is.
I think basketball media view right now as their vacation time. They do.
Sure.
Basketball media in July and August or now I guess we're in September. They're checked out until like October.
No, that's where you're wrong. Basketball, the NBA people see basketball as a 12-month-a-year sport.
Really?
They think it's bigger than football. Do you don't remember this conversation? Like Mark Cuban was like, the NFL is going to die because kids aren't gonna, like Congress is going to step in.
Mark Cuban, for a smart, successful guy, says a lot of dumb shit though.
You remember this?
No.
Okay, like 10 years ago, Mark Cuban was like, the NFL will be dead in 10 years because concussions, basically. Because Will Smith made a movie.
Was he right?
It's hard to say. If you watch Week 1 football, you might argue that the NFL's dead.
The quality of the football
is not great.
It dropped.
The quality of football was not great. All right, that's the show. Is that it?
That's it. We'll be back tomorrow, I guess.
We'll be back tomorrow. For real, tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't even know who we're talking to right now.
We're not talking to anybody. We're just practicing signing off because sticking the landing can sometimes be hard on these shows. So how do you want to stick the landing?
I think you just say, all right, well, we'll be back in 24 hours. Do it again.
We'll be back in 24 hours. Do it again. Goodbye.